Control to Flight 1201, throttle back, bearing 0300.
Roger that, Control. Confirm Flight 1201.
Tower to Flight 560, upon taxi completion, you are clear for takeoff.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. Please fasten your seatbelts, then sit back and relax, and get ready to fly by night.
Now, your host, Ken Sevara.
AM 560, The Answer. This is Fly By Night. I am your host, Ken Sevara. My guest tonight on Fly By Night is the author of a great new book entitled Playboy Swings, How Hugh Hefner and Playboy Changed the Face of Music. Patty Farmer is on Fly By Night. Patty, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm doing great, Ken, and thank you for having me on.
Oh, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. What a great book this is. I've spent the last couple days I couldn't put it down. I'll be honest with you. I could not put it down. And I know that you're going to be doing some book signings in the Chicagoland area, Barber's Bestsellers at noon at 233 South Wacker in Chicago, Illinois. The phone number is 312-466-0223. And then later you're going to be doing the book market at Hangar 1 in Glenview, Illinois at 2651 Navy Boulevard. You'll be there at 7 p.m. Phone number 847-904-7304. And I wanted to get that in right away because this is not only a great book, but it's a historical one as well.
Well, thank you so much for that, Ken. And yes, I'm really excited about being in Chicago and meeting all your listeners and hopefully all my readers. It's a great story, the Playboy story, and it's a story that I found amazing, hadn't been told before. There are books about the bunnies and about the ultimate Playboy himself, Hugh Hefner, and the organization, but nothing about show business, the music, and Hefner's contributions to integration.
Absolutely. And, I was a young kid who had been introduced to doing the Playboy circuit. I was very fortunate to be in the heyday of Playboy. I had performed at the old Chicago Club and the new Chicago Club as well. What a classy organization of highly professional and wonderful people.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. The Playboy, again, I don't think a lot of people know that it was very, very well thought out.
Yes.
Everything, had a procedure.
Right.
How the bunnies dipped and, just everything was very well thought out.
And just so people know this, there wasn't any debauchery going on in the clubs. I mean, those bunnies, there were strict rules. You didn't even, if you touched them, you were out of those clubs. There was none of that.
Absolutely. Almost the opposite of, any kind of shenanigans, because the bunnies, and I've spoken to just a slew of them that work there, and they said they felt so safe and so cared for. They were given responses. If somebody kept them at a table too long, they were, given a response, and another bunny would come to your rescue and say, oh, Bunny Marie, we need you over here, we need you there.
Right.
They were not only never in physically, but never emotionally, misabused.
Absolutely, and they had a bunny mother also, didn't they, who overlooked all of them?
Right, and she actually gave them a once-over before they hit the floor for their work to make sure their seams were straight and their eyeshadow was perfect, not overdone, not underdone, and just watched every little bit of them. Yes.
Well, the thing I loved about performing in Playboy clubs is just the overall atmosphere. It was magical. That's the best word I could put on that. You felt like you were with a very high-class group of people. You were listening to great music. You were or watching great comedy. There was always something going on. There was never 1 minute in those clubs that you felt bored. The food was unbelievable. And I just hope at some point in time they could reintroduce these high-class organizations to another generation.
You know, it's funny that you say that, Ken, because that's exactly what they're doing.
Really?
There is a 21st Century Playboy Club that opened in 2012 in London.
Uh-huh.
And it is the blueprint. You know, they hope to open many clubs. And it's funny because I ran into Lorna Luft, who I did interview for the book, and your listeners can hear her story.
Yes.
But we were chatting. We ran into to each other in a club in London, and she said, my God, she said, if the Playboy clubs start opening up, I'm first in line to perform there. I had that much fun and that much of a great time. And, of course, Lorna Luft is not, you know, the 20-year-old she was back when she performed at the Playboy Club.
Sure.
She is a very a worldwide, world-known singer. So for her to say that and still have those great memories was quite a compliment.
Now, when Playboy celebrated its 5th anniversary as a magazine, Hefner had this idea. He had a lifelong passion and loved jazz, and had this idea that one of the good things for Playboy branding would be to hold a gigantic jazz festival, correct?
Right. And actually it didn't even start out as the festival. You know, Hef wanted to have a party and invite, you know, all these wonderful friends of Playboy, you know, people he admired and listened to, and a lot of them hung out and performed at the Chicago clubs, you know, Ramsey Lewis.
Right.
And so that's exactly what he did, but as the list grew longer, you know, the party became bigger. You know, it wasn't going to be a 4-hour party. It ended up being a 3-day festival. You know,
exactly.
Playboy Festival. And again, Ken, it was so such a compliment, really. Every single person they invited, Ella Fitzgerald, Louis Armstrong, Count Basie, Duke Ellington.
Oh, my God.
All these people said yes. The only one that couldn't make it was Frank Sinatra. And it wasn't that he didn't want to be there. He was filming a movie in Hollywood. He was filming Can.
Right.
But I'm not going to give the story away.
Right.
There are people that came away from that concert, though, believing they heard Frank Sinatra.
Well, yes. And it's a great story in the book. I read that. People need to get the book to read that, but it's absolutely an amazing story. First of all, you look at Hugh Hefner and you go, well, this guy was a visionary, and whether you agree with his sexual politics or not, he had a vision for something, and they say if you ever want to be successful, you find out what no one else is doing and you do it. But not only that, but once the business was going, he had a lot of other very, very visionary ideas. Music. He did the television show to promote his magazine and his clubs. And the guy was always inventing, wasn't he?
He was. He really saw things outside the box and executed them.
Yes, exactly.
You mentioned the TV show, and the networks offered him a show, and I'm sure they had in mind something like the Ed Sullivan format.
Right.
Where people would come and sing a song, tell a joke, and maybe sit on the couch and chat for a little bit. And Hef wanted a more intimate atmosphere and set it in what was essentially his living room, you know, where just a bunch of friends were gathering and, oh, look, you know, Sammy Davis popped in. Maybe we can get him to sing a song.
Sure.
So it was widely entertaining. Unfortunately, segregation and the beliefs of the country in 1959 reared its head, and a lot of the Southern both stations and sponsors found it objectionable that Hef had the mixing of the races on his show. Yeah,
and you know, we're going to play a clip from Sammy Davis on, it was either Playboy's Penthouse or Playboy After Dark, and he does this just unbelievable song, and the guy is so phenomenal. And to think that there was a time when these great entertainers had prejudice levied against them is just inconceivable today. you know.
I totally agree. But the clubs operated for 4 years before the Civil Rights Act went into effect.
That's right.
And I think you and I know I was too young to really have lived through those years.
Yeah, absolutely.
In researching the book, I just found it amazing that we actually operated that way.
Well, we have much more show, and this is a great interview and a subject that's dear to my heart because Playboy always treated me great. They were a fantastic organization. My name is Ken Sevara. The show is Fly By Night. We are with Patty Farmer today. She has just written a great book called Playboy Swings, How Hugh Hefner and Playboy Changed the Face of Music. She will be doing a couple of book signings in Chicago on October 15th. So we will again talk about that when we get back from the break.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer from the ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
I'm Rich, taking a look at the roadways. Some good news in Wadsworth. The earlier rollover crash route 173 in Delaney has been cleared off. We do have a couple delays out there on the roadways, especially the inbound Eisenhower. Tight race seen on into the Burn Circle interchange. Give yourself 30 from Thorndale, 17 in from Mannheim. Also the Dan Ryan inbound, tapping on the brakes from the Stevenson to the Burn Circle interchange, 17 from 95th into downtown. Several construction projects taking place, like the Tri-State southbound Grand Avenue curve at St. Charles, 2 left lanes closed, and the 2 right closed from the Stevenson into 75th. Jane Addams eastbound, watch out for the 2 right lanes closed. Higgins and Barrington until 11 a.m. You may see a 15-minute full lane closure until 4:30. Westbound, the 2 left lanes are closed at Barrington. Rest of the roads not looking too bad this early morning hour. Weather forecast looking for a cloudy with a drizzly low of 48, 49 O'Hare, 50 Midway, and the lakefront. Next update in 15 minutes on AM 560, The Answer.
Here's how you know Hillary Clinton is taking this seriously.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson.
She is resorting to her effort to be humorous, which is a dangerous business for Hillary Clinton.
But she said that she never received or sent any emails with information marked classified.
This is not going away, so she can be as defiant as she wants. She can't make the untruth become the truth.
It's going to get worse.
Hillary Clinton could use a good Bill Clinton sex scandal.
Chicago's Morning Answer. Weekday mornings starting at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Craig Bolanos here of Wealth Management Group and host of In the Know Radio. Our team would like to thank you, our listeners, and the Daily Herald readers for choosing Wealth Management Group as your top financial planner. Let's sit down together and discuss your financial planning questions and review your current investment situation. We'd love the opportunity to show you why we earned your neighbors' votes as a Daily Herald 2014 Reader's Choice top pick.
Call 847-907-9607 or visit investwithwmg.com. Need a great comedian, band, magician, or hypnotist for your next event? Whether it's a corporate event, nightclub booking, or holiday party, Lighten Up Entertainment will make sure you get the maximum experience for your entertainment dollar. Lighten Up Entertainment draws from a talented pool of entertainers who can specialize each act to match your event. Call 815-469-9842 or go to lightenupentertainment.com. That's lightenupentertainment.com. Brighten up your event with Lighten Up Entertainment.
This is Roger Michalski from Eagle Financial Publications. Here at Eagle, we are always looking for opportunities for the dividend investor. Recently, I was blown away when I discovered a website that had every resource that a successful dividend investor could ask for, all in one place. We were so blown away that we bought the website and made it part of our Eagle family. It's called dividendinvestor.com, and there's really nothing else like it. When you log on to dividendinvestor.com, you'll find screening tools, plus an all-star ranking system to help you find the best dividend opportunities. There's a scorecard to track the dividends in your very own portfolio, plus time-sensitive updates so you'll be the first to know when dividends go up or go down. Be my guest. Log on free today at dividendinvestor.com. Set up a portfolio and see how easy it is to work the dividend calculator. I'm convinced dividendinvestor.com will pay dividends to your portfolio. Go to dividendinvestor.com now.
No 2-hour security lines when you fly by night. Now, back to the show with your host, Ken Sevara, on AM 560, The Answer.
We have an outstanding guest tonight. Her name is Patty Farmer. She has just written a book called Playboy Swings, How Hugh Hefner and Playboy Changed the Face of Music. Patty, when the Jazz Festival first took place, there were problems with it. They initially wanted to do it at Soldier Field here in Chicago, but that didn't work out. Why was that?
That's right. Originally, they even had the go-ahead to have it there, but it was pressure from the church on the government, the city officials, that made them rescind their permission to have it there. So, Playboy still wasn't, totally accepted.
Yeah.
Actually, it was the opposite of totally accepted.
Well, right, exactly. I mean, there was, at that time, it was, when you watch old clips of Playboy After Dark or Playboy's Penthouse, it's so tame right now. It looks like the Dick Van Dyke Show, But in those days, that was shocking stuff.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And it's funny, when I give talks around the country, I ask my audience, I say, what's the first thing you think of when you think of Playboy? And, of course, the answers I get back are, bunnies and centerfolds.
Yeah.
And I put forth, I say, yes, I agree with you, but I think the second thing should be great entertainment.
And not only that, but I mean, the magazine's content, there was some phenomenal writers as a part of that magazine. It's become a cliched joke right now that people go, yeah, I bought the magazine for the articles. But Hefner always made certain that the people were writing were top-notch writers.
Absolutely. Again, one of Hef's strengths was hiring the very best in the country.
Yes.
And he had the best editors, the best writers. Alex Haley wrote for Playboy.
Right.
Ian Fleming. Ian Fleming had 7 short stories that he wrote for Playboy.
Yes.
Before they hit the big screen.
Yeah, exactly.
On Her Majesty's Secret Service was a short story for Playboy before it was developed into the James Bond.
Right.
And funny enough, Hef and Ian had a relationship back and forth just from those early years that I bet you don't remember, or maybe you do. In Diamonds Are Forever, our hero, James Bond, pulls out his wallet at one point, and next to his license to kill is a Playboy Club card. It was, exactly right. Great writers.
Yeah, great writers and great branding of a great company. Okay, so the first Playboy Jazz Festival was then held at Chicago Stadium, correct?
Right.
And that was because of Arthur Wirtz.
Right. And he ended up renting Hef and Playboy the first club also.
Right.
The location for the first club.
Sure.
And I have to back up. I keep bouncing back and forth and saying Hef and Playboy, but really, it's synonymous. When you say Playboy, you're really talking about Hugh Hefner because, everything ended up on his desk. He was the final word and the final influence on everything.
Is he still, how active is he in the company at this point in his life? I know he's almost 90 years old.
Right, but he is still going strong. I was lucky enough just to have dinner up at the mansion a couple weeks ago. Had fried chicken and mashed potatoes and got to watch a movie. So I believe his title, he still has a title, and he still has a lot of input at the magazine.
Right. That's awesome. I mean, to be doing something you love for that long a time is really awesome.
And I think it's just the recognition that Hef is Playboy. And his decisions are still, the ace decisions he knows. I mean, he took the idea for Playboy and made it into something different. For sure there had been women's magazines or gentleman magazines with women in them prior to Playboy, but Hef took it and made it totally different.
He refined it, I think. It wasn't dirtiness. It was more like art at that particular time, and there were still many critics of it, but yeah. Now, the first, like I said, on August 7th through 9th, 1959, the second or the first actually it was the second Playboy Jazz Festival or the first?
No, that was the first one.
That was the first one.
1959. It was celebrating 5-year anniversary of the magazine.
But then they don't do one again until 1979.
Right. That was because, believe it or not, one man who was Hef's kind of like partner in crime and second in charge at Playboy, Victor Lowndes, did that whole thing by himself.
Really?
Yeah, these were two young guys, Hef and Victor, tooling around some ideas, and they came up with the idea for the Jazz Festival, and Hef was busy with the magazine.
Right.
And so it fell to Victor to pull it all together. And this guy, he had one little assistant, and they made the phone calls, they got the venue, they organized the whole thing. But August of 1959 was very close to February of 1960, which is when they opened that first Playboy Club.
Yeah, so a lot of stuff is going on. I mean, not only the magazine, but now you've got the clubs. Now you're booking out this great jazz fest. So it was very concentrated energy at that point. Right.
And, they just really didn't have the time to devote to making it an annual event.
Yeah.
And they concentrated on opening the Playboy clubs, which they did it very quickly. They opened Chicago, and that was a roaring success.
Oh, my God, was it ever? That was the busiest nightclub in the world.
Yep.
I think the first year they brought in over 132,000 people.
You've been doing your homework.
Oh, absolutely.
Either that or reading my book.
I've been reading your book and doing my homework, so that was part of it. But it's a tremendous book. So I mean, now all of a sudden you open this, you have this idea, and they took it from the old Gaslight clubs, didn't they?
Right, they did.
Explain what the Gaslight Club was.
The Gaslight Club was a club where they had girls in costumes. They had them in, little short kind of turn-of-the-century outfits serving, drinks and dinner.
Sure.
And Playboy magazine wrote an article about these clubs. And it's a funny story, and it kind of shows again, what Playboy was. It was just full of energy, and anything was possible.
Right.
Victor Lowndes, and you have to realize we're talking the 1950s, where people, mainly men, wrote actual letters, took the time and wrote letters to the editor and mailed them off. So Victor went to Hef and said, how do you want me to handle this? I have 1,000 letters, over 1,000 letters from subscribers asking, about these Gaslight clubs. And Hef says, what do you think? And Victor says, too bad we're giving these guys all this, free publicity.
Sure.
And they kind of looked at each other, and Victor said, wouldn't it be a hoot if we could open our own club?
Right.
And Hef said that would be great, because after work at the Playboy office, they moved to any of Chicago's, cool clubs.
Yeah.
Kelly's or the Cloister Inn was a big haunt.
Black Orchid.
Right.
Yeah.
Chicago in those days just had wonderful music everywhere.
Oh, Mr. Kelly's.
Yep.
Another great club.
But so they said, wouldn't it be wonderful if we could do our own club? And then they kind of looked at each other, and Hef said, yeah, but we know bupkis about running a club. And Victor said, yeah. He said, we can do certain parts of it, but I have a buddy down the street who could, run the restaurant side of it and,
right.
Help us there. And they said, well, what are we waiting for? Let's go down. And that buddy turned out to be Arnie Morton.
Oh, sure.
Later from Morton's restaurant fame. But these three young guys just sitting around, and Arnie says, boy, that won't be hard at all. And they each put money into it. They each put $10,000.
Let's pick up on this on the other side of the break. My name is Ken Sevara. We are with Patty Farmer, the author of a new book, Playboy Swings, How Hugh Hefner and Playboy Changed the Face of Music. The show is Fly By Night. We'll be right back.
bold.
You're not black, so drop the racism crap.
She's controversial.
When you bring the people here, you bring those cultures here.
She's unapologetic.
This is a total fraud and a fig leaf.
And she's coming to Freedom Summit Chicago 2015. She's Ann Coulter.
Now I'm talking.
See best-selling author and conservative firebrand Ann Coulter live on Saturday, November 14th at Freedom Summit Chicago in Itasca. Get your tickets now at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com.
Fox News Radio, I'm Carmen Roberts. The National Hurricane Center says Joaquin remains an extremely dangerous storm. He should reach Bermuda by Sunday morning. Moderate to major coastal flooding expected along the East Coast through Monday, and the rain just keeps coming, especially in the Carolinas.
In some cases, I've seen totals surpassing 15 inches with more on the way. So that's the estimated precipitation again for the Carolinas along the coast. More rain is in the forecast.
Fox's Janice Dean. President Obama declared a state of emergency for South Carolina. At least 12 members of Doctors Without Borders and 7 patients died in an attack on their hospital in Kunduz, Afghanistan.
The whole attack has all the signatures of an attack by the coalition forces.
Dr. Bart Jansen speaking to reporters in Brussels. Fox News, we report, you decide.
How can you get from here to there? We've got the answer from the ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
I'm Rich, taking a look at the roadways. We are seeing still a closure in Libertyville with an accident, Route 137 between River Road and St. Mary's Road. New crash in Oak Forest at 147th and Oak Park Avenue. Also in Elgin, there's a new crash at Walnut and Mosley. On the expressways, no delays, just one delay on the tollways, and that's eastbound on the Jane Addams, crawling from Bartlett into Higgins. This is all due to construction in the 2 right lanes from Higgins into Barrington. You may see a 15-minute full-lane closure anytime between now and 4:30 a.m. So if your plans include the Jane Addams, might want to plan ahead and give yourself extra time or even find an alternate route. Rest of the roads are looking good out there. Weather forecast, cloudy with drizzle and lows in the upper 40s, 49 O'Hare, 51 Midway, and 50 at the lake. Your next update comes your way in 15 minutes on AM 560, The Answer.
It doesn't need to be a September morn to hear your favorite music. Denny Diamond and his sons bring the music of Neil Diamond to life with Denny Diamond and the Jewels. So pack up the babies and bring your old ladies to this authentic traveling show. This family recreates your hot August night with amazing renditions of favorites and highly entertaining stories of their times together. So tell your sweet Caroline that for tickets and information, go to DennyDiamond.com and hear some beautiful noise for yourself. DennyDiamond.com.
Speaking in front of people for work or even in a social setting can make you nervous. Lori Klinka, speaker, trainer, and Chicago's premier speaking coach, can help you feel less stress and more confidence. Hundreds of people have improved their communication skills, and Lori can help you as well. Clients say Lori is a miracle worker with a gift for making people feel comfortable and confident. Reach out to Lori at 708-710-2562 or visit Lori Klinka, that's LORIKLINKA.com, and sign up for a free phone consultation.
Make every day feel like a weekend with the Vito Zotto Show. That's me, Vito Zotto, bringing you quick-witted, spontaneous, and high-energy entertainment to your celebration or event. I love to get the party going and keep it going. The Vito Zotto Show is full of hilarious stand-up comedy, celebrity impersonations, singing, and audience participation that puts you and your guests into the act. The Vito Zotto Show. Call me at 630-582-9770. Find me at vitozotto.com.
Need a great comedian, band, magician, or hypnotist for your next event? Whether it's a corporate event, nightclub booking, or holiday party, Lighten Up Entertainment will make sure you get the maximum experience for your entertainment dollar. Lighten Up Entertainment draws from a talented pool of entertainers who can specialize each act to match your event. Call 815-469-9842 or go to lightenupentertainment.com. That's lightenupentertainment.com. Brighten up your event with Lighten Up Entertainment.
I really enjoyed test driving that car, but I don't know if I can afford it.
Well, you can qualify for a low interest and payment auto loan depending on your credit score.
I don't even know what my credit score is.
You should go to Credit Sesame. They give you your credit score for free and so much more. In fact, you can check it right now.
Yes, at Credit Sesame, we help turn your credit score into the key that unlocks the things you want, like that new car. We give you a free credit score and so much more. You get free credit monitoring and alerts, personal loan analysis and recommendations, money management tips and tools, all to save you money and help you reach your goals. Plus, identity theft protection, absolutely free. No credit card required. So do more with your score. Get started today. Visit freecreditsesame.com. That's freecreditsesame.com. freecreditsesame.com.
Fasten your seatbelts. You're back on the air with Fly By Night on AM 560. The Answer.
It's such a crazy game. No more that all-time thrill. For you've been through the mill, and never a new love will ever be the same.
And that is the golden throat of Sammy Davis Jr. He was on Playboy After Dark when he did that song, and that goes way back to the late 50s, early 60s. Correct, Patty?
Oh, it does. And I have to say, you just gave me chills listening to that. That was wonderful, and it was really typical of the caliber of entertainment.
Yes.
Across the board. Well-known and not so well-known.
Absolutely. They had, Lenny Bruce on the show. They had Ella Fitzgerald on the show, jazz greats, comedy greats. Can you still...
Bennett.
Oh, Tony Bennett. Wow.
He was a great friend to Playboy, or a great friend to Hef.
Yes.
And he's one of the few that I can think of that played in absolutely every showcase they had. He did the festivals and the TV shows and even the clubs out of affection for Hef. They clearly could not afford to pay his typical salary.
Sure.
And I think Tony really hit it on the head when he said, complimenting Hef, he said, Hef found a way to take having fun and make it into a business.
What do they say? If you are in a job you love, you never work a day in your life.
That's it, right?
Absolutely. And now, for the second Playboy Jazz Festival, they move it. This is now 20 years after the first one, held in 1959. Mm-hmm. They move it out to the Hollywood Bowl, which is probably one of the most famous music venues in the world. Mm-hmm. Who made the decision to do that?
Well, that was Hef's decision because Hef had moved by that time.
Yeah, that's right.
He had moved the mansion to L.A., Beverly Hills. Mm-hmm. And this time around, the great George Wein came on board to put it together.
Yes.
George Wein from Newport Jazz Festival.
Yes, another great jazz festival.
Right. I was fortunate enough to get his thoughts in the book, and he even wrote my introduction. I was very honored.
That's outstanding. Now, when Wein came in, what changes were made besides, maybe going to another venue and things?
Really not that much. It was the old formula. He did cut it down to 2 days. I think, actually, it was because of the cost.
Right.
But it was appropriate for the times. Mm-hmm. 2-day festival, sold out, and was just, very satisfying.
Sure, and I believe that first festival, the 3-day fest in Chicago, drew like 68,000 people.
It did.
At $5.50 a ticket, correct?
Right, and Hef donated, I believe it was the first day's proceeds to the NAACP.
So he was always thinking in terms of not only racial equality, but racial harmony.
Right, and advancement.
Right, exactly.
Many of the artists said, they noticed, without it even being mentioned, that he was a great proponent of not only integration but advancement.
The festival also had comedians. Who were some of the comedians who performed at the fest?
We had Mort Saul.
Oh, great political comedian.
He was wonderful. He was really the top dog there. He was also the MC.
Also wrote an article about the Kennedy assassination in Playboy, which I found fascinating.
Yeah. And Mort is still up and going.
Yes.
He's as feisty as ever and still giving his opinions out in California.
Yep. Absolutely. And I understand there were a lot of Dr. Erwin Corey.
Right.
Very funny comedian. And he was another gentleman who played the clubs.
He did. He played the clubs an awful lot. And Erwin is still going. I don't know if it's because all these guys played at Playboy that they have this zest for life, aren't giving it up. But Erwin's
Exactly.
101.
Is that amazing? Well, they say comedians, because they're always using adrenaline. They always have adrenaline levels that are very high. That kind of preserves us.
I have to tell you, too, Ken, he's still fresh.
Oh, that's
I
awesome.
went to interview him, and at 101, I had to tell him, Erwin, you're very fresh. Watch your hands.
It's like George Burns. He always had a blonde on each arm. That's pretty cool.
know.
He's like Hefner, too, But we're going to be right back after this break. We are with Patty Farmer. What a awesome woman. She has just written this incredible book, and you guys are going to have to pick it up. My name is Ken Sevara. This show is Fly By Night. We'll be right back with the author of Playboy Swings, How Hugh Hefner Changed the Face of Music, right after this.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer from the ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
I'm Rich, taking a look at the roadways in Libertyville. Route 137 shut down between River Road and St. Mary's Road with accident investigation and cleanup. Also watching out for crash in Oak Forest, 147th and Oak Park Avenue. If you're heading downtown, Lower Wacker southbound ramp to Congress Parkway westbound shut down for construction till 5 a.m. All traffic on southbound Lower Wacker's forced off onto Harrison. One delay we're watching, and that is eastbound on the Jane Addams, crawling from Route 59 into Higgins. This is all due to construction in the two right lanes through Barrington Road. That's going to be there till tomorrow, this morning, I should say, and the 15-minute full enclosures may last until 4:30. Your weather forecast: cloudy with drizzle and a low of 48 degrees. Right now at O'Hare, it's 49, 51 Midway, 50 Lakefront. Next update in 15 minutes on AM 560, The Answer.
The average child laughs 200 times a day. The average adult laughs 8 times a day.
Yeah.
How many times have you laughed today? Because the average Zanies customer laughs 123 times per show. This message was brought to you by Zanies stand-up comedy clubs located in Chicago, Rosemont, and St. Charles. Online at zanies.com.
It doesn't need to be a September morn to hear your favorite music. Denny Diamond and his sons bring the music of Neil Diamond to life with Denny Diamond and the Jewels. So pack up the babies and bring your old ladies to this authentic traveling show. This family recreates your hot August night with amazing renditions of favorites and highly entertaining stories of their times together. So tell your sweet Caroline that for tickets and information, go to DennyDiamond.com and hear some beautiful noise for yourself. DennyDiamond.com.
My name is David Hochberg, and I'm Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. That's right, I'm now Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you're looking to purchase a new home or refinance your existing home, give me a call. I'm the same guy that's provided listeners with honest advice and outstanding customer service for the past 13 years. The only thing that's changed is where I work. When you had questions about purchasing a home, you called me and I helped you. When you and your parents had questions about reverse mortgages, you called me and I helped you. When you needed help refinancing to lower your mortgage payments so you could afford the home after your spouse passed passed away, you called me and I helped you. If you'd like to talk to me about a mortgage, give me a call at 312-751-1333. That's 312-751-1333. Email me, david@pearldavid.com. That's David at PERLDavid.com. Or visit my website, am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage is an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee, 4358, licensed by DBO under California RMLA and MLS 19186, pearlmortgage.com licensing.
Get lots of frequent flyer points when you fly by night on AM 560, The Answer.
And we are back right now with Patty Farmer. She is the author of a brand new book that you guys have to pick up. It's an outstanding book. If you're interested in jazz, if you're interested in the history of Playboy, has many, many moments where we talk about the history of, she talks about the history of Chicago. The book is entitled Playboy Swings, How Hugh Hefner and Playboy Changed the Face of Music. As you went through all of these interviews and you went through all of these tapes of the different Playboy Jazz festivals, who were the musicians that made the biggest imprint on the festival?
You're asking me to pick among the kids here, Ken.
Who's your favorite?
I have to, talking to Sonny Rollins.
Oh, yeah.
Was just a treat, and a delight for me.
Uh-huh.
And he was so generous with his time and told me so many stories. I get tongue-tied when I think about it. But he told me about how playing at the festival meant so much to him. And
right.
He credited Hefner again, like many others, with giving him that opportunity.
Sure.
And he made a lifelong partnership with Bob Cranshaw at that festival, and they still perform to this day, although not as much as they may have done 20 years ago.
Yes.
But talking to Sonny, and that was really the last performance he did before he took his unheard of sabbatical.
Uh-huh. And he took that sabbatical to basically, refine his approach to music, didn't he? He was looking for new formulas.
He did, and he practiced and experimented with different techniques, and it was unheard of for a musician at that time that was at the peak of greatness to drop out of sight for a couple years.
Yeah.
But he did, and came back, and not only was able to reclaim his spot in the music world, but, just really soar.
Well, one of my favorite musicians performed at the first jazz festival, Playboy Jazz Festival, Miles Davis.
Oh, yes, Miles. And it's funny that you bring up Miles, because that reminds me of the Playboy interviews.
Yes, and he was the very first one, wasn't he?
He was, and I find that very interesting. Showing Hef's commitment to jazz. When he started the magazine, that very first issue in 1953 with Marilyn Monroe on the cover,
right.
Hef could have had an article included in the magazine about any movie star, any sports figure, any politician, and yet he chose the Dorsey brothers.
Yes, right, exactly. And that showed his lifelong passion for the art of jazz. Miles Davis, not what you would consider probably the friendliest guy on earth, but enormously talented.
Very much so. And obviously, Hef loved the music.
Yes.
Because he chose Miles as the first Playboy interview.
Right.
Conducted by Alex Haley.
Yeah, which is amazing. I mean, here, Hefner had a real eye for talent, and he could spot Alex Haley before anyone else could spot him.
Right.
The guy who goes on to write Roots, that's pretty good scouting, I would say.
Really? Excellent. And that happened many times. Aretha Franklin was 18 years old and appeared in Chicago.
Sure. Barbara Streisand.
Well, Barbara, they had...
she had been doing New York, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But, all this great talent early on, Al Jarreau, before Al Giro was El Giro. He performed as Alan Julio.
Yeah.
And the same with Joan Rivers. She was part of a trio.
Right.
And on and on.
Oh, my. I mean, it's like, you go through time, and that's what I'm saying. What a shame. I mean, I really would love to see Playboy come back to the city of Chicago and bring all of that class back to a world that really needs it.
I agree. You know, not somebody you would associate with Playboy, but talking to Mitzi Gaynor.
Yep.
You know, the fabulous Mitzi Gaynor.
Yep.
And she said you were always assured of quality when you were booked to perform at a Playboy Club.
Always.
Everything was perfect.
And they made certain for the entertainer that you were well taken care of as far as you had a dressing room, you had a jazz band playing during dinner. The entire setting was just idyllic. It was just almost surreal as far as, you were being transported into a different world. Exactly. And not to mention that the scenery wasn't really easy on the eyes. You know what I mean? I don't want to, leave that fact out for a second.
You know, I think the bunnies had as much fun as everybody that went because of the bunnies.
Absolutely. And they were charming.
And so many went on to become known in their own right. You know, Deborah Harry was
Blondie, absolutely.
And Susan Sullivan, the actor, Lauren Hutton, the model.
Yes, and Elizabeth Taylor for a while. Wasn't she?
I don't think Liz Taylor.
Oh, they said something about, you say something in the book about her being in New York.
Well, she went to the club after.
She went to the club. Okay.
Yeah. And that was the go-to place.
Well, we're going to pick up on that for our final segment right after this break. My name is Ken Sevara. I'm with Patty Farmer, the author of a brand new and incredibly good book called Playboy Swings, How Hugh Hefner and Playboy Changed the Face of Music. This is Fly By Night. We'll be landing in just a little while, ladies and gentlemen.
Speaking in front of people for work or even in a social setting can make you nervous. Lori Klinka, speaker trainer and Chicago's premier speaking coach, can help you feel less stress and more confidence. Hundreds of people have improved their communication skills, and Lori can help you as well. Clients say Lori is a miracle worker with a gift for making people feel comfortable and confident. Reach out to Lori at 708-710-2562 or visit Lori Klinka, that's LORIKLINKA.com, and sign up for a free phone consultation. Need a great comedian, band, magician, or hypnotist for your next event? Whether it's a corporate event, nightclub booking, or holiday party, Lighten Up Entertainment will make sure you get the maximum experience for your entertainment dollar. Lighten Up Entertainment draws from a talented pool of entertainers who can specialize each act to match your event. Call 815-469-9842 or go to lightenupentertainment.com. That's lightenupentertainment.com. Brighten up your event with Lighten Up Entertainment.
You have the AC on, but part of your house, maybe a room, maybe an entire area, is too hot or maybe even too cold. The problem's been there for a while and you just put up with it. Well, it's time to find out why that's happening and maybe fix it.
This is Terry Van Summeren. My company is Air Right Heating and Cooling. Our name says it all. Let's get the air right.
Air Right Heating and Cooling is offering a special deal right now for just $98. They will come to your home and find out why that area or room is too hot or too cold. You pay a lot for your AC. And you shouldn't have to put up with the problem. Sometimes the fix is simple. For just $98, Air Right will find out why you have the problem. So find out how you can get your air right now. Go to getmyairright.com. Getmyairright.com. Tell them you want the special offer to get your air right. Just $98 to get the comfort back. Want to call them? 888-589-8584. 888-589-8584. Air Right. Decades of helping Chicagoland get the air right.
Tower to Flight 560, clearance request granted. You are now free to begin your descent into Chicago.
Ladies and gentlemen, please make sure your seat backs and tray tables are in the upright locked position in preparation for our landing.
You're always first class when you fly by night. Now, back to the show on AM 560. The Answer.
Yes, you're first class when you fly by night, and we have a first-class guest on the show today. Her name is Patty Farmer. She is the author of a brand new book, Playboy Swings, How Hugh Hefner and Playboy Changed the Face of Music. Patty, let's talk again about the television show. When Hef started the TV show, was it hard for him to get sponsors?
Not so much in the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
He had sponsors. It was hard for him to hold on to sponsors.
Why was that?
Because of his practice of having mixed race guests.
Oh, gotcha. So even the sponsors were prejudiced.
Right. They were not happy about it. And to have Nat King Cole come on the show and not sing a song, but sit on the couch and discuss a book with a white woman was, you might say nowadays, and your listeners say, well, what's the big deal about that?
Right.
That was shocking in 1959.
Yes.
And he got all kinds of flack for it. The black performers were supposed to come out, sing a song, and maybe disappear. And, Hef, as I mentioned before, maybe off air, that he was just colorblind. It wasn't even a conscious decision. He just saw nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Interesting.
Absolutely. It's like baseball was, where you had all of these great black athletes who weren't allowed to play in the major leagues. And what a sad omission that was.
Mm-hmm.
Just very, very sad.
But Hef did go a long way in changing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dick Gregory credits him with breaking the color barrier on stage and very succinctly says, Hef did not care if you were black, white, or purple.
Right.
Only if you could swing an instrument, tell a joke, or sing a song.
As life should be.
Mm-hmm.
So, what band or singer was your favorite from all of the research that you did? The person that you say, God, that left an indelible impression. Sonny Rollins, we've talked about. Who else would you say?
Great. Tony Bennett.
Bennett,
I love Tony Bennett. And at 89, he has a new album out. CD. I'm dating myself.
That's awesome.
CD. So, all these amazing performers, just learning a little bit more about them and really as a whole, the work ethic.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, I want to plug on October 15th, you're going to be at Barbara's Bestsellers at noon at 233 South Wacker Drive, Chicago, Illinois, 60606. Phone number 312-466-0223. And that night, you will, at 7 p.m., you'll be at the book market at Hangar 1, 2651 Navy Boulevard, Glenview, Illinois, 60026. Phone number 847-904-7304. I want our listeners to get out and buy this book. It is called Playboy Swings, How Hugh Hefner and Playboy Changed the Face of Music. Patty, absolutely outstanding interview, and I wish you all the success in the world with this great book.
Thank you so much, Ken. And if we have a second, I'd love to offer your listeners a special gift if they come out to the book signing, buy
Wonderful.
a book and mention your show. I'll have a special Playboy gift for you.
Oh, very good. So just mention Fly By Night at Patty Farmer's book signings, and you will get an additional prize. Hey, I would like to thank Patty Farmer for being on the show today. I would also like to thank my wonderful producer, the lady in the control tower. She makes it all happen every week, Debbie Schreiner. Listen to my business show, Part of the Answer, every Sunday night at 7 p.m. right here on AM 560, The Answer. Tune in next week for another smooth flight. This has been Fly By Night. I'm Ken Sevara. Good night, everybody.